Welcome back. Happy Thursday it is today, or happy whatever day it is when you are listening to this. I hope you're all well. Today's topic, we are talking about the most common mistakes I see in the gym over the years of training and as a coach. It is currently absolutely freezing, by the way. So if you're watching this on YouTube, I've got my beanie on. Apparently, I look like a condom, but yeah, that's the shape of my head, unfortunately, but it keeps my big ears warm. So today, yeah, we're going to be getting into the topic. Let's just dive straight into it because these are the things that I see. These are the things that I talk to people when they come up to a consultation with me for coaching, and highlighting some things that if you do nail this, you are going to make a billion times more percent progress than if you were not doing these things. Okay. So I'm not trying to do this as a bias. I'm doing this as to actually help you guys to progress. And this is things that I will teach as well to guys. So number one is going to be very, very standard. And I see it all of the time. And it is not training hard enough, nowhere near to the point that in your body you're giving a body a reason to adapt. I'm at the gym a lot. I've been at my gym for a good 3 years now, and there are some people that I see who have not changed one bit. I myself, I've gained 20 kilos, I've lost 20 kilos, I've done a photo shoot prep, I've done a bodybuilding prep, and I've done another photo shoot prep. Um, all the while some people have made who I'm not even joking, have not made one bit of change, and I'm like, what is going on? So a lot of that comes down to you training, not training hard enough. Others can be fat loss and your phases, but people that don't train hard enough, unfortunately, are not going to give their body the reason to make a change, to force an adaptation. Our body needs a reason to adapt. Now, if you're not exposing it to heavier loads, to more reps or whatever it may be, then it's just going to stay the same. I actually had a lot of conversation this week with some clients on how to progressively overload in the gym and how to train hard enough. And to know that you train hard enough, you should be getting stronger. Your numbers should be going up. You should see differences in your physique. If you're not seeing differences in your physique, I'm sorry, you are not training hard enough. And there are caveats to that, making sure that your nutrition is on point, sleep, hydration, all that, but I'm not going to go into it. But not training hard enough is a reason why you are not seeing progress. You are not made of glass. You can push yourself a little bit harder, if not 10 times harder. So that would be number one. Number two is I actually had three conversations with people in the gym over the last 3 weeks because they see me, I'm not at the gym this week, but over the last couple of weeks, they see me logging my lifts. Logging my lifts. I'll repeat that. I log what I do, the reps, the weight, obviously my training program as well that I have. And they're like, oh, I don't do that. And I was like, why? And this is actually one of the people that I've seen that not hasn't changed in 3 years. And he's like, wow, I wouldn't, there's no need for me to do that. What are you talking about? Like, can you see the difference between myself or people that log their lifts and how much change they're making with their physique? And you need to look at your own physique and go, well, if they're doing it, then maybe that's a kind of hint that that is something I need to do. If you're not logging your lifts, you have no idea if you're gaining strength, if you're beating your weight, where to start, where to push on with, where to make sure that you're not even touching. Like if you've completed 10 reps at 100 kilos, which is your rep range, the high top end rep range, you do not need to do 100 kilos again. It's a waste of what sets. You need to now force more adaptation, and that will be coming into training hard, not training hard enough. But logging your lifts is one of the simplest way to make sure that you are understanding or you are giving your body the best chance to progress and to build muscle and to even retain muscle when you're in a fat loss phase. It's not hard, it's easy. Everyone should be doing it who's serious about physique development. Um, I even said one of the older guys, to be fair, he was in his 60s. He was like, cool, I've never done that and I will never do that. And I was like, well, I didn't really want to say it to him. I was like, well, I mean, you can still look good, but you're just overweight at the moment. Bless him. Um, nothing against him, to be honest, but it's like I just wanted to say, but what? Like, there's proof in the pudding to people who have great physiques. They log their lifts. Why do you think you're particularly special? Anyway, that annoys me. Those first two ones. Anyway, and these are the things I didn't do, by the way. When I started the gym all those years ago, I wasn't logging my lifts. I wasn't training hard enough. No wonder I didn't see any results. And the only results I started to see was when I started to do those two things and understand how to train hard enough. I also learned from people that I was training with. Number three, on your phone too long. I see people 4 minutes in between rest times from like a hamstring curl or leg extension or abduction or a lat pull down. They're just on their phone scrolling. Man, that is one of the biggest killer to progress. You are literally just sitting there waiting, and then you just pull or push whatever weight, and then you go back on Instagram, you're just scrolling and you're just resting too long. There's no intensity. You are wasting yourself away in the gym by being on your phone too long. Just don't even think about social media for the for the hour or two that you're in there. Get in there, train hard, log your lifts. Don't even think about Facebook, Instagram, Twitter or X as it's now it's called, or YouTube. Just get in there and train fucking hard. Another one that comes kind of intertwines it. So point number 4 is chatting 80% of the time. I actually talk about clients a lot about this, and some of them go, "Oh, this training session is way too long. It's like 2.5 hours." So what are you talking about? It should be about an hour or just over. I was like, "How much are you actually talking to people?" They're like, yeah, to be fair, I do see them and I catch up." And I was like, "Well, that's not the plan's fault. That's you just chatting most of the time and not actually training hard enough." And not actually getting into your sets and getting like physically and mentally ready for, putting stress on the body. Training is stress. You're supposed to put stress on the body to see an adaptation. If you're just chatting most of the time, you're not going to see that adaptation. You're not going to bring that intensity. So people that are training, that are talking too much, do not train hard enough, or are not seeing, or not getting into the zone. So that was point number 4. Number 5, actually not hydrating enough. Our muscles are 73% water, as I'm having my coffee. You need a hydrated muscle to perform at its best. So you need to be making sure that you are drinking not a substantial, but a good amount. I would always go to 500 milliliters to a liter of water pre-training, and then at least 500 ml of water during training, because that's going to force, or not force, but it's going to help hydrate the muscle, pump the muscle up, push blood to the muscle as well, and that's equal better performance. So something you may know, but the importance of a hydrated muscle is very, very important. Point number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Not proper foods to fuel the session. Some people will just go into the gym with an empty stomach. If you're eating loads and loads of food, this may not really count to, you may not need to worry about that. But some people, I think you need to always have some form of carb source, whether that's going to be a fruit, could be a Kellogg's Rice Krispie square bar. Could be rice cakes and jam in the early morning. Just give yourself something. And this, I've changed my view on this since I became a coach, and understanding that a pre-workout powder is nowhere near as effective as actually having some form of carbohydrate source in your system. Our muscles are made of glycogen, salt, water. Okay, if you can push glycogen, which is carbs, into that muscle, it's going to help the pump. It's going to help blood circulation to there. It's just going to help you perform better. So carbohydrates are really, really important for a training session. However, there's a caveat to this as well. If you are someone who is needing to lose a ton of weight, don't worry about what I'm just saying there. Okay, this is someone that's probably more physique development based. A lot of my fat loss clients who have got a lot to lose, we're not even worried about this. I'm worried about his total calories in the day and just training and then doing our cardio and steps. But if you've got to that point where you're lean enough, and then you're looking at, or not even lean enough, but you've got a decent physique and you're either cutting or muscle building, you need carbohydrates. I can't even remember what number we're on now, but the next point is random workouts, no phases. The amount of people that just go in and do whatever they fancy are the people that have very mediocre physiques. They don't see it because they're like, "Oh no, mine's all right." But if you actually put them against someone who has a great physique that they're trying to get, it's way below par. Our body needs to get, your body, you need to get stronger in your lifts. That comes from logbooking. So this one intertwines with logbooking, and obviously not training hard enough. But random workouts, I do not know any of the best people with the best physiques that do random workouts. Again, why do you think that doing random workouts is going to work for you? If it worked, all of the pro bodybuilders that have the best physiques would do it. All of the athletes would do it. No one does it. Why do you think random workouts work for you? It doesn't. Maybe it works for a little bit, maybe you get 20% of your progress, but to get the 30, 40, 50, 60, 78 rest of the progress, you need to be following a program for at least 12 to 16 weeks, at least. So make sure you're following a program. The next point, not auto-regulating your sessions. So sometimes if you're feeling ill, or you've had really bad sleep, or you haven't really had much food or hydration, some sessions are not going to be as good. And you've got to accept that. Some sessions you may be a little bit less in weight. You might have to bring the weights down a little bit based on how you're feeling. Now, this isn't an excuse to not train hard. It's just knowing your body. Not you can't go every single session to death, to war, to training to the absolute maximum. There will be days, a lot of my clients just work 9 to 5, they have children, they have families, they have stressful jobs. If you've had a super, super stressful day, and you've barely eaten and you go into the gym, you need to accept the fact that, today's not going to be my best day. I'm going to reduce the weight a little bit. I'm just going to work on my execution, my technique. I'm not going to kill myself off because when we are in the gym and we are training to that failure point and we are absolutely killing ourselves off, that is stress on the nervous system. It's the whole point. It's the whole point that we are forcing adaptation and giving our body a reason to adapt. But there are sessions that, like I just said in the example, that may not need that. And that is going to be okay. So auto-regulating based on how your day's been, based on how your week's been, based on how you are, is really, really important. Again, that's not an excuse for every session just to be poor and low volume and low intensity, but knowing your body is extremely important. Another point, not using straps. Really hammer this. Even now, 7 years into 6, 7 years into coaching, I'm still telling clients from the beginning, use your straps, use your straps, use your straps. Some clients don't get straps for about 6 months into the muscle, into their lifting, and then they're like, oh my God, how have I not done this? And I was like, I've been saying to you every check-in, buy the straps. They're like £6. Buy the straps, buy the straps, buy the straps. Keep going. And then it goes on and on and on. And it only then they realize going, oh my God, I can lift more heavier. I'm seeing much more results already straight quickly. So please, if you haven't got your straps for lifting all your pull movements, this is your sign to do so because you will make so much more progress with your back, glutes, pretty much just your back and glutes, to be honest. You'll see progress beyond what you think you thought you could. And every person, every client I've had, this is 100%, have always said, I wish I had the strap. I wish I got the straps earlier. There's not one person who goes, hasn't really made a difference. Not one. Next point, doing bodybuilding workout programs. So your favorite bodybuilder or influencer doing these mental workouts, keep it simple. They are way ahead of you. They've got way more muscle tissue than you. You don't need to be training like Olympian, like an influencer, like a pro bodybuilder. You want to keep to the basics, train hard, progressively overload, logbook. Then you can start maybe having some more speciality. A lot of the pros or a lot of people with great physiques are having special program for them. They are specific on their body parts. It doesn't apply for the majority of us. I even saw the other day on a YouTube channel with one of the pro bodybuilders that I follow, who I absolutely love. He's only now really going in specialized programming. He's like, and even he said, which was a great point, he said, why would the general population or why would someone who's starting the gym or maybe had 1 or 2 years experience, why would you need to have a specific special program? It makes no sense. You need an all-round program to build up everything. So that's what I would be suggesting as well. And the last point I wanted to make to keep this nice and short and sweet is overestimating what days you can train. I get this a lot with clients, and I always make sure, I say I try and make sure, like, a lot of people say I can train 5 days of train. I can train 5 days, no problem. I can train 4 days, no problem. When in reality, that is still too much. But they still try and force it. And I actually had one client who was like, "I'm doing 4 days. I'm doing 4 days." I went, "Are you sure?" Because before you couldn't. He said, "No, no, no. I'm doing 4 days." We spent 3 months doing a 4 day program, and he could only get in there 3 days every week. He's like, "No, next week's going to be better." No, no, I promise you. No, I promise you. I was like, "Mate, please, this is enough." Like, he's like, "No, no, no, no. I can definitely do this." So we wasted 3 months on a 4 day split where he can only train 3 days out of it. Now, a split is designed specifically for that 4 days. So if you're overestimating and I can only achieve three-quarters of it, you're missing it out. So what I would be doing is changing that training split to a 3 day split and making sure that there is good balance between the muscle groups because you get more out of it instead of missing a session every time. So stop overestimating, be realistic, make sure you know what days you can train or how many days you can train in the week, because training splits should be specific to you and they should be specific to the days that you can train or how many days you can train in the week. If you're going on a 4 day training split and you keep doing only three, that's a telltale sign that you need to change your training split to a 3 day split that's specific to 3 days, not 4 days, because you're missing out massively. So those are my most common mistakes I see in the gym, guys. Want to keep this nice and short and sweet. Hopefully it's kind of highlighted anything that you may have thought about or, maybe if were wondering, but maybe the things that you are doing and now you're going to actually change to do it. So I don't know how long that was actually. I think my coffee's gone a bit cold, to be fair. It was about 10-15 minutes, which is perfect. But anyway, any questions that you have on this, please let me know. Anything you want to hear, I would love to hear from you guys. But yeah, see you on the next episode.